Hiya, my name's Scott Meekin, and welcome to my freelance presentation. What have I been doing over freelance? Well, I've been working with a theatre company called Prime Cut Productions from July 2024 to February 2025. I've been working on a 3D platformer in the style of Astrobot and Crash Bandicoot, as well as a Souls-like game. And I've also been attending events inside and outside of uni, like the Global Game Jam and the recent playtests. So Prime Cut Productions, they were formed in 1992. They've been a staple in Belfast for theatre. They've been making cutting edge, high quality theatre productions. They wanted to make a very visual heavy theatre show using real time technology like Unreal Engine. I worked alongside an animator called Joseph, as well as many other people that were consisted of directors, lighting technicians, stage managers, and AV. So the original plan was to use Unreal Engine in real time off a computer that would then be projecting onto the stage. We would have used a level that had a sequence, and when the sequence ended, it would then open up another level that then plays another sequence. But we were using an application of Mac called QLab, and it used OSC, which is Open Sound Control. It connects to the sound and be able to play the sound alongside with the visuals. But this would have been really complex, and it mean everything would have had to have been done in Unreal, which would have been really time consuming, and with Unreal it wouldn't have been very reliable, and the whole point of a theater show is to get from A to B, and we didn't really want a crash or have a show stop. So to overcome this, we made the visuals still in Unreal Engine, but then we rendered them, and we were able to export them as an Apple ProRes or an EXR, import it into DaVinci, export it as a MP4 or a video file, and it would then be placed into QLab. QLab, you're able to build queues. So you're able to make layers in QLab as well. So we would have rendered the sky on its own, the floor, or which is the roots, and then the tree would have been a transparent video through Unreal Engine. Joseph had found a way to render it just with a transparent background, and then we would be able to place the tree onto the tree model here. So we would have had a mask for the back, the mask for the tree, and the mask for the floor, using three different projectors. Uh, and these are some of the visuals that I've created just in pre-production. Sadly, none of these got used. A real shame, but just creative differences, and just the director had a real creative vision and worked with the animator. So here's just some of the photos. This is where we rehearsed in early October, and these are the photos that I had captured of the Mac, or no, sorry, not the Mac, Letterkenny, where this is the stage. Here's some more photos of the stage, but this time it's actually at the Mac. We have some visuals of the tree as well as the roots, and this is the sky too. And it was the same concept. We had three projectors, and just here, this is where the badger would have lived. And the badger would have entered this way and exit. So it came from the left to the right. And here's just a better look of just, I think this is the ending, where the cast were able to stand on top of the mound, and the visuals were then presented on this, and the tree would have been masked for this too. And then in early January, we then met up again. I ended in November, and we started again in January. We had originally been projecting into white, but this time we wanted to project into white. This isn't the greatest example of a photo, but this is. You can tell the roots are really glowing. And we thought that this was the way that we wanted to show, but that's not how it went. Sadly, when we got to Dublin, that's not how it works. This is a black. This is the projection being projected onto black. This is it being projected onto white. You can tell it's more powerful on the white. We were really confused. We didn't know why. We had some technical issues too when we were down there, but sadly, that's just the way it is. And we also had a tree mount too. We kept the mount, but we got rid of the tree. And this allowed us to project the tree onto the back wall, and we were able to have different variations of the tree. We were quite limited when we actually had the model, but this time we're actually able to have branches instead, or we can have the tree on the left rather than the right. Here's some badger chat. We had a badger. We had a badger that used LiveLink. It's an application on iPhone, and you're able to connect it to Unreal Engine and use real-time performances. We were also able to have Xbox controllers that control the arms, and we also had buttons on the Xbox controller, which would have been triggered which were used to trigger specific animations like the character walking on or off stage. The actress that originally was supposed to do the Badger felt very overwhelmed. She had to do two characters, and so it was then decided upon that I would then do the performance of the Badger. There was one night I didn't do the performance, but every other night I did the performance of the Badger. This is just a rough timeline of everything that I've just talked about. I'm not going to go too much in detail. Feedback and experience. I really enjoyed the show. We had some technical issues for our first showing in Letterkenny, but it was a really good blueprint. The Mac was pretty good, and I really enjoyed it. The show in Dublin was fine. I think I was just more homesick than anything, and we just had a lot of technical issues in Dublin. Thing that I always suffered with was last minute changes. We would have rendered stuff just for 2 hours later, just a slight tweak, and we had to re-render. And that's just how it goes, sadly. But I really enjoyed my time, and I would love to work with them again. So now onto the 3D platformer. I've been following a video where I've been making basic character movement from a blank project, and I've been able to make a walk and a sprint, just animations linked to that. I've been inspired by Crash Bandicoot and Astrobot, as well as Super Mario Galaxy. These are games that I all love, and I've taken inspiration from each of them. So here's just some of the prototyping. These are very early. This is just me following the video. Had a walk and a sprint animation, just blending between the two poses. And then we had a jump and a jetpack where there's a double jump, but then the character kind of floats down. Thought it would be cool for jetpack. I then changed the character model and found the animations for them. I then implemented a jump pad, a gravity flip, and a slow down time. This is a collision box that the player enters, and it allows input. And once the player presses F or Q, the character will then flip. It's the same with slow down time, they'll slow down time. But if they walk outside of the collision, it will reset the rotation, and it also resets the time. I've also added a really simple dash mechanic too. Here's my title screen. This is just a proof of concept. I have an idea to make the character playable in the title screen, but through a controller. But if you want it, you can still use a mouse to select levels or the menu. Sadly, I haven't really touched this project since March. I've kind of been struggling to find this game's identity. I think that just might come down to the fact I actually don't have a games design document for it, but I would love to continue this project, and I do intend to. I think possibly next week I might make a really simple game design document just to help me make this project, and I would love to continue it just before the module ends. I've also been working on a Dark Soul / Jedi Fallen Order game. It's an online course made by Goraka Games. It has basic combat, AI, strafing and dodging, animation montages where you're able to add and modify, which it's a blueprint and you're able to add it into the animation montage, and when you slash, it adds damage onto it. So you place the specific nodes where they need to be, and when they carry out the animation, it applies damage to an enemy. I've also been learning how to retarget animations and stats. So here's some of the combat. Combat is in combo, so if I hit X 3 times, it carries out a combo, sorry. When you hit X singular, it just does the slash, but if you do it 3 times, it's slash, slash, and slash. This is just through an anim modify 2, as well as carrying out in a blueprint. I've been able to make a combat blueprint and implement it into the third person character. I also have a heavy attack, which is a separate button that you press. I have a lock on system and also a strafe. So when you lock on to a character, you can strafe. And when you also strafe, you can dodge in a different direction. So you can dodge left, right, back, or forward, just like a little bit like Elden Ring. But when you're not locked on, you only dodge forward. Here's a great example. That enemy just died. Dodge directional. So when you're locked on, I dodge backwards, I strafe, I then dodge left, and then I dodge right. Here's some of my enemy in UI, or enemy. AI, sorry. Uh, there's a really simple enemy robot that does a basic combo, and then you've got a boss which sways left and right, and then does a big attack too. Future ideas, I would love to add different weapons, more enemies. I have a knight model that I would love to use that is basically just the same as the robot. UI, I would like to be inspired by Jedi Fallen Order or Survivor, but make it a wee bit more medieval. Push and pull enemies, I would like that from like the Jedi games or even Control, but make it a wee bit more magical and fantasy, maybe a little bit like Avowed, where there's like a little portal on the hand and you're able to lift a character in the purple. Level development as well. I would love to follow a course just to make level. That Go Rocket Games does go in development of making a level 2, so I need to continue that too. And of course, obstacles to make player engagement. So events that I've attended to, I've done a global game jam this year. Final year playtesting, I attended that and played some games. Animotive VR animation. This is where you're able to use a VR headset, and we reenacted a scene from The Empire Strike Back with uh, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Spoilers. Where we were able to place a virtual camera and record the actors actually animating, and it was a really, really fun experience. I also attended the first year playtesting with the Nintendo Switch 2 showcase afterwards, and I also attended the Careers Fair that was on the 12th of February too. For the Global Game Jam, the theme was Bubble. I originally wanted to go to Hypixel, but sadly they cancelled. And so me and Jamie, as well as Leanne, she helped online. We decided to go to the Ulster University in the games design room, and that's where we did it. And we attended the uni's game jam. I worked on UI and level design, and we also made an FPS. By the way, I should have mentioned that where we had Bubble Man from SpongeBob as our enemy. I made the bubble material, and here's just a screen grab of the UI, as well as another screen grab of it just in the editor. I have a wee video here. I'm just going to let it play here. Jamie did the scripting and I did the level design. Here's just a rough idea of the level. It's just set in a bathroom with bubbles everywhere, just your typical bathroom. I made the thumbnail as well. And here's just the links to the actual itch.io and the Global Game Jam. I'm not going to continue this video. If you wish to watch it, please do. It's on Jamie's YouTube as well. And thank you for listening to my presentation.